Hi there, everyone, and welcome to Paper Wishes Weekly Webisodes. I'm Sarah Newman, and I'm so happy you're joining me for this episode of Saturday with Sara. Today we have a really sweet collection from our friends at Hunkydory called Adorable Animals. So get ready for some cuteness overload. We have an 8x8 paper pack plus a set of foiled and die cut toppers to go along. So let's take a closer look, and we can start with our papers. This pad contains 48 double-sided pages, 4 sheets each of 12 different designs. You've got an all-over pattern on one side and then images to cut out on the other side. So I've pulled out 1 sheet each of the 12 different designs so that you can see the artwork and the different patterns that we've got in here. Hunkydory just does a beautiful job with their artwork. I think these designs are gorgeous and so beautifully detailed. Really fun and easy to use. Now, my 13-year-old daughter was looking at this and she's already picked out a couple of her favorites. Some of the images in here will be sized smaller, so they work perfectly on the inside of your card or for tag art as well. So really nice and versatile collection. Then you've also got a sheet back here with some accessory items, some little party hats and bow ties if you want to dress up some of your animals. And then there's also a sheet with some cutout sentiments on here too. So it's a really nice all-over collection, works beautifully for card making. Then we've also got our topper collection, and there are 8 sheets. This one is the Farmyard Fun. Then we have Woodland Wildlife. I grew up with a lot of these little critters in the backyard in Oregon. We've also got here the Cute Companions, kittens, fish, little mice. This one is the Country Cuties and Forest Friends, as well as Perfect Pets, On Safari, and then finally we have our Wonderfully Wild. Now, what you're probably noticing about these sheets, they all have a similar format, and you'll notice you've got some really nicely sized focal images with this gold foiling on here, which is that beautiful shine. It just adds a nice touch to your projects. Now, these are all die cut, so they're going to pop right out of that backing sheet. Super easy to use. You've also got some borders down here, and you've got some coordinating sentiments. So everything is really nicely organized so that you've got a lot of supplies for your paper crafting. This collection is just so sweet. And of course, Hunkydory has not only beautiful artwork, but their quality is outstanding. I'm really looking forward to exploring this set with you, and I'm so glad that you're here today. Come play with us. This sweet little owl topper is the perfect focal point for a birthday card, and this design is really easy to put together. So let's take a look at the details, starting from the background up. Now first, I've covered the card front with solid cardstock from the Carnations cardstock pack from Hot Off the Press. Then I added a white cardstock layer in here, and then this really nice plaid pattern from the paper pack. This border is a strip of pattern paper matted onto white, and then I wrapped it with jute twine before adding it with foam tape onto the front of the card. And I've trimmed this top and bottom evenly with the plaid paper design. And then from here, all I need to do is add the focal, which is the owl die cut from the Toppers collection. And you'll notice that it's got that gold foiling around the outside edge of the die cut, which just adds a really nice and special touch to it. And it coordinates with the other metallic gold touches. And I've got some of the Diamond Sparkles gemstones. Now, these are also from Hunkydory. And I've got some, not very many left. I've got some in gold and also in silver. And they just make a really nice accent, especially when you've got some of that gold foiling on here. Now, the circular message is a die cut, and that's just popped up again with some foam tape. And I added a jute bow just underneath. So the jute twine you see wrapped around the border is separate from the bow. So don't try and tie the bow and wrap the whole thing. That can be very complicated. So I prefer to do the wrapping with the jute twine, put this down, and then tie a bow separately and use some of the Cosmic Shimmer acrylic glue to glue that in place. Then for the card inside, I have some more of this cardstock. On the side, I've got some more of that beautiful pattern paper and a border die cut from the topper set, plus another foiled birthday wishes sentiment here. A really fun and easy way to create a very special birthday card. Okay, I've got another project that I want to share with you. So another fun thing you can do is use the cutouts in the paper pack to accessorize the animals like I've done on this tag. So our little mouse here is from the paper pack, and let me show you the sheet where she is. So you've got 4 little animals on here, and here's our little mouse. And I used one of Hot Off the Press's square dies. Just place this down in here, and I was able to get a perfectly cut square. And then of course I've got the scallop design in here as well, and that's what I've used for the cardstock mat on there. And I've also used the tag in a bag cutting die, this time just the tag rather than the bag as well, although you could certainly do that too, to create my tag shape here. So I've got some cardstock layers on here as well as that pattern paper. But let's talk about dressing our little mouse on here. So you can leave her as she is, but you can also bring in some of the elements from this sheet here. And you can see that there are a lot of things that you can use to accessorize any of the animals. You've got the party hats, you've got the bow ties, you've also got some leaves, and of course this fun birthday banner on here too, and the packages as well. So really a lot, especially for your birthday cards. So let's have a look here. I've got the party hat here, and then I've also got another one of the bow ties. I've popped these up with some foam tape, so of course I've got her dressed, but you could also add these to our little teddy bear. Now the bow can be used not just for the around the neck, but also for the fur, the ear. Our little pig can go to a party too, why not? You can start to see where this is a lot of fun and can really personalize your images for whatever card occasion you have. So I've got some other ideas here. I just couldn't stop with our little mouse. So let's have a look here. If you want to dress up your tiger, I've got some of the leaves here. Now I've got these popped up on foam tape. So again, getting a little bit of dimension there. Here's our sweet little teddy bear. So I've got the sign here, and I've also cut out some of the words. Now those are from, let's see, these are from this sheet right here. So the to and the from those tags, I've just cut out the words and added them on here with some of the flowers. And then there's that sweet little pig ready for a birthday party with the banner, a different bow, and then some of the gift packages on there. So then back to the tag. Now I've matted our little mouse on a scalloped square from the Carnations cardstock pack, and then I used a combination of the green pattern paper and pink and green cardstock. Lots of elements are raised up on foam tape, so I have a lot of dimension there too. Then for the other side, I've got a Dazzles message. It didn't fit perfectly on my tag, so I just trimmed off some of the excess on there. And then I've got another little cupcake cut out from the paper pack. Our next card features one of my favorite images from this collection. I think this gentle deer is so beautiful, and an image that can work really nicely for lots of card occasions, from birthdays to thinking of you to a thank you, as we have here. So for this card, I've used the blue flower pattern paper matted onto white, and then I've got lavender cardstock covering my card front. I've inked around the outside edges of these two papers, as well as around the outside edge of my card front, using the Midas Gold pigment ink. Then I've got my topper die cut, which is popped up on some foam tape, and I've accented it with some cardstock flowers. So these are die cut from the Botanical Libraries die set. This is a new to me die set from Hot Off the Press, and I just fell in love with this. So you can see the 3 flowers that I've got here are these 3 dies. But there's so much more on this set. So you've actually got a full bouquet with a vase on here, and you can die cut and layer up your shape like they've got on the back of the packaging here. So whether you're using the dies to create a card focal or to accent your card focal, you've got a lot of different options on there. Then I've got a trio of some of the Diamond Sparkles gemstones and a little jute twine bow. And then for my card inside, I've got some more of that lavender cardstock, plus a cutout image and the Grateful Dazzle sticker. This little black kitten is another favorite from the collection, especially around my household. And this card is a really fun example of how all of the coordinating elements come together. So here I've combined two of the papers from the pattern paper pack, the black and gray design to pick up, of course, the colors in our sweet little kitty here. And one thing I like to keep in mind when I'm mixing and matching my pattern papers is to consider adding in a solid color cardstock mat. And what this really helps to do is it allows each of the designs to stand out, and it creates some visual space between the patterns. So let me show you what I mean here. With this card, I've got two pattern papers, this really nice kind of faux texture black and gray. It's like a wood grain design. And then I've also got the all over paw prints design. Now, if I put the two of them, just one right on top of the other, of course they're designed to go together, so this looks fine. I also like to add in some contrast though with a solid colored cardstock mat. Now here I'm using the white, and this is going to give a high contrast difference between the two papers. You could also use a black, or of course pick up some of the gray in here. But you can see the difference between the two designs, one right on top of the other, and then adding in that mat. And you can also experiment too with which paper goes on top. But again, here they are, two together, and then with that solid cardstock mat in there. So something to keep in mind when you're mixing and matching your pattern papers. And if you want each one of those to stand out rather than blending together, you may consider a white, a black, a gray, off-white, any color of solid cardstock mat in there, and just see the difference that it can make. So here I've got the paw prints mounted up onto white and then onto that wood grain. And then of course I've trimmed everything down slightly smaller than my card front so that I've got the white of that card base showing too. So my border is wrapped with some jute twine. Then I've got another little jute twine bow in here. I've added my kitten popped up on some foam tape, and then the coordinating sentiment. Now, for the card inside, I've got something a little bit different. I've got a really fun pop-up design that reveals another cutout kitten and another sentiment. So for this, I've used the double door pop-up die. This is also new to me from hot off the press, and this was a lot of fun to work with. So with this die, you've got two metal shapes. You've got the right mechanism and the left, and that's going to give you what you need to create this pop-up for the inside of your card. So of course, with hot off the press, they're always going to give you the project idea on here, as well as some instructions, and very useful, the diagrams on here for where everything goes and how you need to fold things. But let's take a look. I've got a little trick that I discovered with this set, so I thought I'd share it with you. So here I've die cut my two pieces from solid cardstock, and then from here you'll need to fold along the score lines. So what I recommend you do when you're scoring things, grab a bone folder, because that's going to really help you to create some nice crisp folded lines, and this does really impact how nicely everything lays down in place. The nice thing about this die is that all of the folds are valley folds, so that keeps it easy. So once I have those two scored and ready to go, then I'm going to bring in my blank card. Now you'll have to imagine that I've decorated the outside of my card. So you can decorate the outside of your card first and then go for the inside. Now the thing I need to really pay attention to is this score line on the inside of my card. So you can see this is where it's going to fold up. I've got a line here, and I'm going to be working with this edge first of all, and then with the second edge over on the other side. So what I want to do after I have this all scored up is glue this in place so that this side is aligned with the side of the card, and this little triangle piece that you can see here is aligned with this side of the card and the fold, the inside fold here. Now that sounds complicated, but it's really not. One thing you do want to keep in mind though, people will wonder what kind of adhesive to use for this. My recommendation is the extra sticky tape, because you do want something that is going to hold in place I tried with glue and I also tried with regular double-sided tape, and it wasn't quite as effective. So my trick for this is, rather than starting with the long side here, is to start with this little triangle. So put your adhesive on this little triangle piece and then align this with the edge of your card and just above that fold line in here, and glue that in place. So I've got one where I've already done this, so I don't have to hold it down for you. And you can see when this opens how nicely this lays in here. So I've got the score line of my mechanism, which really follows the score line on the inside of my card. So this is glued down in place, and then what I'll need to do is put some adhesive on here, some of that extra sticky tape, and then sort of, I'm trying to angle this so that you can see, then align this with the inside, or with the edge of that card, so that when this opens up, it will open with that mechanism going like so. And once you've got one side glued, then you can do the other side. So let's take another look at my card where I've got everything glued securely in place, and you can see where that goes. Now, one thing to keep in mind when you're deciding what paper or cardstock to use for your door, both sides are going to show. So originally I was thinking, oh, maybe I can use one of the all over designs here, or maybe a contrasting pattern like this green. But of course on the other side I've got the cutouts, so that wouldn't really make sense. So just do consider both sides of your cardstock when you are choosing what paper or cardstock to use for your door. So for the inside of my card, I've got the little kitten here, and I've just used scissors to cut around the outside of that heart shape. And then I've added another sentiment in here. And so this is a really fun way to create a card that is sweet and also has just a little bit of a surprise. Our final card has an adorable hedgehog focal on a circular step card. This card format is always a winner, and it is super easy to do too. Of course, I am using a die to create my card base. And you can see here, this is the set that I'm using. One solid shape on here that you'll just die cut from your cardstock or paper. And of course, you've got your folding diagram on here along with some instructions. But as I mentioned, this is a really easy one to do. So you've got your mountain folds and you've got your valley folds. Again, make use of that bone folder. That's going to help everything to fold crisply in place. And then once you've die cut your shape, you can go ahead and decorate it. Now with my card, I've cut the card base from a sheet of cardstock from the Seafoam and Pearls pack. And this was perfect because it's black on one side and yellow on the other side. So it just coordinated with my little hedgehog topper perfectly. Then I cut just the bottom portion of the die from yellow check pattern paper, and I glued it to the front of the card, just slightly offset from the bottom and the sides, so I'm still getting a little bit of a black edge on here. I attached the topper with foam tape. Now do take care to put the tape only on the bottom of the topper, because remember, the top of the topper is going to be exposed on the other side, so just look twice before you adhere that down in place. And then I've got the hedgehog sentiment overlapping. I've got a little bit of jute twine on here too. Then for the inside, I've got another portion of this border that I've used on the side flaps going along the inside. I've got some more of that check pattern paper and then a couple of cutout images to finish it off. And this is our final project of the day today. So a big thank you to our friends at Hunkydory for these sweet papers and embellishments. I think you can tell that I had a really fun time playing with these, and I hope you had fun playing along with me today. A big thank you to you for joining me. We're really glad that you're here, and we're happy you're a part of our Paper Wishes family. Do feel free to leave a comment. We love to hear what you think. Each item can be purchased separately, and you can see them below. However, we've also bundled them into a creative money saver just for you. For the money saver, see this webisode on paperwishes.com. And if you're watching us on YouTube, have a look in the description box below this video. You'll find a link that will take you to our Paper Wishes webisodes page, and you can see everything I just mentioned. If you enjoyed our video today, we'd appreciate a thumbs up. It helps people to find our channel. And don't forget to subscribe. We create 3 to 5 videos each week, so there's always something fun to inspire your creative spirit.